Bobby Jimmy got so popular, Russ Parr said, "Oh, I want to do a record. He got an idea for a record. Who can I go to produce?" And they said, "Oh, you got to go to Uncle Jam's Army. They just came out with a joint, Dollar Freak. You know, you got to come out with a record of Egyptian Lover. He's the baddest, you know, dude around." And so then they, you know, Egypt produced a record called "We Like Ugly Women" for Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. We like ugly women. So anyway, so on this particular show, so the song blew up, had a buzz in the streets, and then promoters started asking him to perform it. But it's Bobby Jimmy and the Critters. He can't. It's supposed to sound like it's a whole crew. It's just one guy. So he's like, I need some guys to be on stage to back me up. He contacted Egypt, was like, "Yo, can you do you know some guys?" Uncle Jim's Army is full of guys. And then me, you know, so anyway, so we go to this party at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, and big, huge dance. And so I get there with dressing like wait for the guys. And then, you know, Russ Parr's there to introduce me to the guy, but one of our guys didn't show up. And, you know, they're opening act, so they're getting ready to perform. And he's like, you know, hitting my man up, Muffler, who later on would go on to form the LA Posse that produced LL. And so the Muffler was like, "Yo, man, he's not here. I don't know. He's supposed to have been here." And it was then Bobby Jimmy looked at me and said, "Well, this guy's dressed like you, but we was dressed. This was Uncle Jam's Army." So he's like, "Well, he's dressed like you. Maybe he could do it." And I have no idea what those guys are talking about. And they're like, you know, because that's how I tell folks, hip hop just fell in my lap and all the performing and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just there for the party. And he's like, "Yo, man, you want to be on stage? We about to perform this record, blah, blah, blah." Like, wait, what? Sure. Sure. Why not? And go back there and, you know, talk up, work out some steps and just follow me. I got jokes. I'm going to do the thing and just follow up, you know, play off me. Like, fine. And so then like 30 seconds before we getting ready to go on, I'm excited. Like, oh, I'm nervous. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Here comes the other guy, shows up, and it's like, oh man. But anyway, so I'm ready to walk off. He's like, "No, you DJ'd all right. You could be the DJ." "Oh, okay." There's only one record. Just now introducing Bobby's and the Critters. Bum, 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 bum. That was it. And, you know, just dancing. Hey. So after a while, it got to the point, one of the guys in the front was like, "I don't want to be in the front no more. I want to be the DJ." Really? Because I don't want to be the DJ because I'm not doing anything. I want to be in the front where all the fun is. And so we switched, and the rest was history with that group. So, but I do want to say about Bobby's and the Critters, and you mentioned Roaches was our biggest hit that came later on, I believe in '87. In '85 was with Bobby Jimmy was my first time getting to New York, and with Big Butt, because, you know, Houdini came out with, "You got a big mouth, a big mouth." And, you know, Russ Parr came out, "Oh, we got a big butt, a big butt." So at first I was hesitant, like, wait a minute, we got a big butt or she got a big butt? Because I'm having a problem with, you know, whatever. And so anyway, but he's like, no, we can't, you know, the women to get offended. You know, we just did you know, We Like Ugly Women. You know, the cute girls got mad because we talking about that. So we want to get us off the women. Let's make this one about us. So comedy, you always make fun of yourself, because he's a true stand-up comedian. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but in the hood, ain't no grown ass man talking about his own booty. I don't know. But anyway, we did the song, massive hit. And so the cats and the promoters in New York thought we was from New York, and they booked us for shows, and we flew out there to the old Roxy, the LQ, the Latin Quarters, and moved around the disco feet, moving around in New York. You know, I'm saying '85, you know, hip hop was real day one. And to move around and, you know, see legendary Chuck Chill, just see cats. Oh man, the name, but just being that element was amazing. And so, you know, that was just my first thing, because I played basketball. As soon as we got off the plane, I'm going, take me to Rucker Park. Take me to Rucker Park. Where the ball play? Because it was this thing like, oh, West Coast ball players can't ball. They not as tough as the ball players in New York. Man, I'm a state champion. Crenshaw, hop, man, let's go. Man, damn hip hop, take me to Rucker Park. And that's the first, man, I went to Rucker Park. It was I don't know, Thursday or something. You know, the main cats come on the weekend. I'm looking for anybody that look like they got a look at talent. Went up in there, balled some cats up. It wasn't nothing. Then some nice dudes with nice game came up there, and so it was interesting. So by this time in '85, LL Cool J had blew up, and K-Day had already had him coming out to do shows out here on the West Coast. And so, you know, Cut Creator, him and Bobby Jimmy hit it off, and they were cool. So when we were flying out to New York, Bobby Jimmy hit up Cut Creators like, yo, we don't know nobody. When we get out there, can you pick us up from the airport, show us around, make sure we good? He's like, yeah. So then they wound up having a show in Baltimore that first night. And so he sent his brother and his brother's homeboy to pick us up from the airport, show us around till they flew back in. And, so when I'm like, Rucker Park, we go to Rucker Park. And so Cup Creator's brother, he just woofing. Oh man, I don't know. I don't think you want none of this. I don't think you want none of this NYC. Oh man, this dude is woofing. So I blazed through on this side of the court through these youngsters. Oh, they went. Oh, here comes some cat. Oh, here you go. And when I ran through them, he was quiet the rest of the way. I was fired up. I'm playing with the West, repping the West Coast. I'm not finna lose none of this. And so after that, my trip was gravy, performing and networking. Man, I'm good. But the one thing that showed me about in terms of music, and so because I'm a student to the game, and I'm skipping over past some stuff because I'm really trying to shorten it to get to to a good fulfilling hour. But I'm a student. I listen to music and self-taught all my stuff. And so just hearing how music is made and the style of music. And so I thought, when I would go to the underground clubs in LA, like, the East Coast style, the New York joints, it was like, because you understand when we started DJing, it was the LA tempo was fast, start off Planet Rock, Bambaataa and all of that. And then when it comes this time, like Technique 1200s, you plus 12 all the way down. Oh, and so it's just this up tempo, crazy up tempo, and so then the LA underground clubs like New York, Radiotron and all of those, it was like, okay, they would play a slower pace like it was East Coast. But when I got to New York, they had crazy slow pace, like almost put you to sleep type. They called it dust music. I didn't understand. So when I got there, it widened my spectrum in terms of like how, what hip hop was really all about, especially coming out of New York, their style. But let me just pause right here on that because I got to give another disclosure and just give an explanation. Because, in the early days of West Coast hip hop, cats in New York and on the East Coast was dissing us on the West Coast, like y'all hip hop, y'all trying to sound like us and y'all whack. And, I just want on behalf of all the West Coast hip hop, look y'all dead in your eye and say, we wasn't never trying to sound like y'all. We like what y'all was doing, but we had our own style. We came with our own twist and our own mindset. And so when it comes to making music, New York's hip hop, early hip hop was based on James Brown. If you listen to all the break beats, all they loops, it was James Brown based. Here on the West Coast, it was Parliament Funkadelic, Roger Troutman and Zapp. We was on some funk. We was on a different funk, both funk styles of funk, but different styles and different elements. So we were never trying to sound like New York. There was a couple of cats that came out with some New York sounding records, come out with some New York sounding rhymes. But for the most part, it's like we got our own style. And so that got lost in translation. And we've always been looked down upon. Like, we because the whole thing was about biting. But that's what we first learned. Oh, you got to be original. Don't be a biter. Be originator, not a duplicator. So it's like we got our own style, not a problem. And then all of a sudden, oh, y'all whack because y'all trying to sound like us and it's whack. No, that defies common sense and logic. We not trying to sound like y'all because then that would make us biters. Like, see, it's this double standard. What's happening. So, when I did your research on you and saw you used to write for The Source, it was like, oh, The Source used to kill us on album reviews. I'm just gonna keep it 100, bro. I love you to death, but some of them record reviews, the record critics, man, was just smashing on us on the West Coast. And then like Rodney and Joe Cooley, when I got with them, man, we outselling a ton of them cats in the East Coast. Why are we getting trashed upon when we outselling these? Man, I could name brand cats. MTV, they pumping these East Coast cats, Fab Five for them. Oh man, it's biased. Hey, what about us? And man, we didn't get no love, but I just wanted to throw that out there about the differences in terms of the foundation. We'll come out with some bounce rock skate roll. I said a hip hop, a hip to the and it's like that's funky to us. They on some, Hey, ooh, shout out to BDP, rest in peace, Scotland Rock. Oh man, so all types of funky. But it's interesting in the day one. I'm jumping around a little bit, but day one, hip hop was just based on beats, and then it was drums, like beats, and then scratching. It wasn't no music. That's why I'm amazed at like Houdini. Even at boom biddy boom biddy boom biddy boom biddy 5 minutes of funk. It's like, whoa, music. And it was like, that was frowned upon. But then later on, it became, it was cool. And then especially with the loops of the different records and styles. And so now it's amazing to see how the youngsters and hip hop, the spectrum is so wide that you can pretty much do anything and it's considered hip hop.
Well, that's why Houdini with Larry Smith was so important, because they brought
Smith, rest in peace.
They brought a musician and melody, like you said, but that's why 5 Minutes of Funk, Friends, One Love, Big Mouth, all these things. Rat Freaks come out right. They lasted because they have melody, and there's more going on musically, and it's original. So Houdini had a huge impact, and people forget they were also the first rap group to go platinum. So they were hugely popular and influential on so many things, and they had great stories early in the game as well. So
and the first promoters that brought them to LA was Uncle Jam's Army, baby.
So where did the General hat and the General Jeff come from?
So, I, again, in the hood, I start off as DJ Jeff. I don't know, I'm a DJ and my first name is Jeff. Bam. And I'm just doing house parties, backyard parties in the block, just in my neighborhood, nothing, house parties. And then it got to the point where when I started doing parties like outside of my neighborhood, and it was like, okay, everybody else has got like fancy name, flashy names. And I'm thinking I need something a little more flashier than that. And so when I was playing basketball at Crenshaw High School, my teammates named me General Jeff because I was like a coach on the floor. And, I'm like, guard him, ball. No, don't shoot you. Here, yeah. Here, go. No. And so when I realized I need to come with something with a little more flat, a little more spiciness to it, it's like, I could just use, General Jeff. And so when I got with Bobby Jimmy, when we started making records, what is your name? DJ Jeff. I couldn't. So I just grabbed General Jeff. I dropped the DJ. I just General Jeff. Well, it was DJ General Jeff at first. Wound up dropping that later on when I got with Rodney and Joe Cooley. Like, no. The DJ's over there. Joe Cooley. Woo! That boy there. Oh, man. The Michael Jordan Turntables. Oh, I retired. I seen that. No, I'm done. It's amazing. I'll get into that when we get to that segment, because I think we're still only up to 1985. And so after New York, I come back, and so that's when I'm like, I'm on my beat game. Let me get my beat game up. I always want to give props to Russell Simmons, because he was Run DMC's manager. Run was his little brother Joseph Simmons. And so, when they would come out here, thanks to Roger Clayton, rest in peace, and they would hang out. So the whole thing was run, like they would call to be like, we bored, we stuck in the hotel, ain't nothing happening. So we at the DJ booth, Slauson and Western. It's like, well, you can come over here if y'all ain't scared. Man, we ain't scared. We bored. And so they come Scuba. They come and told them we all hanging out at the record store, Slauson and Western, run just hanging out, just hours and hours just hanging out, because they didn't want to be stuck in the hotel. And so from there, it just Russell too. We just hanging out. And so, but we befriended each other down with Russell to this day. Shout out Russell Simmons. Russell Rush. And so then from there, he befriended like my cat that I mentioned earlier, Muffler and Dwayne and Daryl. Muffler and Big Dad formed the LA Posse. And, Russell wound up flying them to New York, produced LL's second and third album. And, Uncle Jam's Army, West Coast. And it's like, West Coast Cali cats, like, we we don't know hip hop. You know, New York looking down on us. Oh, we don't understand. We make different hip hop. Our hip hop is whack. Well, how did Russell Simmons believe in us enough to have, you know, send a couple of our members out there, fly on his own, fly us out there, and we'll fly our cats out there and do it. Then they called for Bobcat, DJ Bobcat and DJ Pooh after that. And so then the four of them was out there making magic.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.